Well, hi there, and welcome along to another edition of What's the Word in association with Ladbrokes. Slim down panel this week, but we're going to make up for it, and the sheer volume of winners are going to tip up, aren't we?
The best weekends racing so far this season. It is
no doubt.
a belter.
Oh, I just cannot believe this fighting fifth. I have the desperate feeling I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it was all a dream. I mean, this is
Three runners, like the three not going to run.
This is why they call them racehorses, because you race them.
I know it's an intriguing season. People are actually running their horses. I don't know if it's going to catch on.
I don't think I've looked forward to a race as much since Sprinter Sacre took on Q Card and Fleming Star at Aintree.
Oh, good reference.
Yeah. So that's how excited I am about the fighting fifth.
Okay, well, before we go on to the fighting fifth, we'll go on to the Ladbrokes Trophy at Newbury at 3 o'clock. Look, 14 got opposed to 13 now because Kemboy's out with a bit of trouble getting over on the boat. But I'm sure we've all had issues at ferries over the years getting back from Cheltenham and the like, so we can see it as happens.
Yeah. It's obviously disappointing because he was one of the classed angles in the race. Like, I fancy Dingo Dollar, but my worry with Dingo Dollar all along has been if there's a Denman, if there's a native river in the race that he couldn't win because he's not a Grade 1 horse. But now that there's none of them in there, and you've got Thomas Patrick favoured, Elegant Escape, Miss Parfois, they're all grand horses. But I just think Dingo Dollar is such good form in Newbury. Like, if I go back to the run last year where he beat Baden by 15 lengths and Joe Farrell was third. At the time, Baden was rated 125, Joe Farrell was rated 126. Baden finished the season rated 133. Joe Farrell won the Scottish National, now rated 142, and he battered them. He's a brilliant jumper.
15 lengths?
Yeah, he's a brilliant jumper. Flat track, left-handed, nice pipe opener over hurdles. Like, you'll probably get 4 or 5 places with Ladbrokes. I'd be shocked if he doesn't finish in the first 4 or 5. And yeah, he's a good each way price. Like, he's vulnerable to a star, but I don't think there's a star in the race.
Yeah, well, that is, with Kemboy out, it does seem shorn of a star. What's your take on the race, Juki?
I think it's so hard to rule horses out of it. I don't think I'll be having a bet, which is unusual on this race. If you force me into a selection, I'd back Thomas Patrick. I'm very much looking forward to the race because Thomas Patrick and Dingo Dollar throwing leather at one another over fences should be some sight. They're two brilliant jumpers. So I'm looking forward to watching it. But I think that's all I'll be doing.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to the head selection.
Well, Thomas Patrick will relish the stamina test, and he's a brilliant jumper. So
that's two big boxes ticked for a Ladbrokes Trophy.
He's got to go well, doesn't he? But there's so many of them. I think that's going to go well. That's going to go well.
Yeah. Okay, but you're with Thomas Patrick, and you're with Dingo
Dollar. Yeah.
Okie doke. It's a nice reference from a celebrity as well. Right, let's move on to the fighting fifth hurdle. Only half a dozen go to post, but like. Reigning champion hurdle winner, reigning Ballymore Properties winner, and reigning Supreme hurdle winner.
Hold me back.
Yeah, I know.
Take
it easy. This is top class.
This is Sam Crow time.
Yeah.
Right. This is stand up. Prove yourself. Prove to be you're the superstar that Gordon and everybody in the yard thinks you are. This is it now. It's
Silence
time.
the doubters.
Excuses are gone. Like, there's people like Paul Keeley is a knocker. He's one of the more famous knockers. I'm sure there's plenty, and I'm not sure if Juki is in the fan club or out of the fan club. But like, people that say his form doesn't stack up are talking pure bullshit because his form absolutely does stack up. Like, I could go through. I have a list of pieces of form that makes him scream he's a superstar. I'll pick out 2 or 3. Ballymore last year. Like, people say the Ballymore was on soft ground. You need a stayer. He beat them with sheer speed from the top of the hill to the bottom of the hill. He wasn't staying on and mugging Black Op on the line. He beat them coming down the hill. He went by them as if they were stopped. Black Op was second. Next Destination was third. They finished the season rate 152 and 154. They both won Grade 1s at Aintree and Punchestown next time out. Rock solid form. The Delight, over 2 miles, people say he's a slow horse. Duke de Geneva, Paloma Blue,
that was
Whiskey Sour,
Sharjah,
Larisburg. But it was run slow. But that emphasises my point that he still had the speed to absolutely bolt up. And people say, he was beaten first time out in the WKD hurdle at Down Royal. But if you were to ask me who is the best novice hurdler that stayed hurdling the following season we've seen in the last 20 years, I would probably say Hurricane Fly. Hurricane Fly, in its first run out in novice company, finished third in the Morgiana to Solwith. They sometimes just take a run. It's like a young footballer that playing adult football for the first time. They just need to.
Yeah, but Solwith's a superstar. Whereas, like, who do you get?
Sharjah won the Morgiana next time out.
Okay, I mean,
this Sam Crow is a superstar.
Anyway. Brendan Duke,
Well, I certainly wouldn't be a knocker. I mean, I love Sam Crow. I was a bit disappointed with his jumping in down road.
I'm massively disappointed with his jumping.
I can totally
massively disappointed.
That he wasn't straight, and any horse can get beaten, as David says. You can't just judge them on one run. But he jumped a lot better as a novice, didn't he? So that was just a concern for me. He'll need to...
I didn't think he jumped that bad.
Oh, did you?
No, I didn't. No.
I thought he was very slovenly.
He was very slow. Sharjah was quicker over every single hurdle.
Yeah, he'll need to jump better here, but then we expect a better performance. But Bouvardais, you can't knock Bouvardais. He never ran to his rating last year, but he only had one chance.
It's worth pointing out at the time of speaking here, Ladbrokes are top price 5-4 by Bouvardais, so they're obviously in the Sam Crow camp as well. It would seem so.
Are they in the Sam Crow or the Somerville camp?
Well, they'll bring in the third thread.
Well, this Somerville boy's a serious talent. I mean, to do what he did, the Supreme. So Noel Felly had a brain freeze at the second last and got him cut off by Gettebird, who was consistently jumping right. He challenged on his right. Terrible thing to do. So he's made a dreadful mistake there, just as the meat of the race is taken off. So you think, right, he's in real trouble here. Quickens again. Then he bungles the last. And whatever people will tell you about, say, Navan is a longer rise to the finish, and it is. It's a sharper ramp in Cheltenham, and marathon runners and cyclists, for example, will always tell you it's the ramps that kill you. Those sudden. So that last furlong hill in Cheltenham kills horses. And he's having to do it off the back of two absolute momentum killers. And he still won. Yeah. And it's not like, okay, it wasn't as good a renewal as Bouvardais' renewal, but the second had won the Betfair Hurdle. The third, Mengli Khan, is a good horse. It was pretty an average enough renewal. So I thought it was a brilliant effort. He's inexperienced. He should get better this year. He loved the ground. I think at the prices, he's the bet.
Okie doke. Right, let's go along the line then. You are with David Jennings.
No, Sam Crow.
Sam Crow. Bouvardais jumps some silly lads. All right, let's move on to the rest of the Saturday card. Will I go into while you compose yourself because someone didn't say something nice about Sam Crow?
Can't beat Sam Crow.
He absolutely can beat him. He absolutely can beat him. This could be the champion hurdle winner.
Yeah, Sam Crow.
There we go. I mean, you wouldn't. It's intriguing to see what happens next after this.
Well, I don't think he can. I know you say, how much ground did he lose at them two hurdles in lengthwise, are you saying?
Well, the second last, I mean, you couldn't see how much ground he lost because all the horses.
Well, if you just put a figure on it.
In turn, I would say about 10 lengths.
Stop. Move on.
I think 5 is probably fair enough.
You can't argue.
Right, Fairyhouse is obviously brilliant day's racing as well. By the way, if you are going to Fairyhouse, don't forget a Christmas jumper. There's good prizes on offer for their winter festival. We're going to start there with you, Juki. You have one in the 12:15.
12:15, I imagine any second now will be making the market here. I'll be taking him on it. I don't think the horse is thoroughly genuine.
Yes, okay, that's fair enough.
Whereas Flawless Escape does look at a genuine article. Disappointing the Martin Piper. We'll give him a pass there. They bought him out of a point. I expect him to win that.
Yeah, that's in the 12:15 Fairies. You've another selection at Fairyhouse as well, by the way, at 3:05.
3:05 Hum Baby for Michael Howrigan. Drops in grade, progressive mare with a really good attitude. I think she'll go one better here.
Okay, have you composed yourself now?
Yeah.
You composed. Okay, we'll take it.
We went from complete disagreement to agreement with Flawless Escape.
I feel like you take any slight on Sam Crow a little too personally.
Anyway,
yeah, 3:35 at Newbury. You like one here?
I do. Forrest Behan, I think, is in a different league to these. Like this time last year, he was rated 158. He's down to a mark of 150 now. Flat tracks, left-handed, on anything but heavy ground. I think he's mustard, and I just think the fact that he's dropped down to such a mark, I think he'd be very hard to beat. Like that was a really good run behind Sco Royal in the slower. He had my beloved Brain Power and Le Parisien behind. He's had a wind up. This is second run after a wind up. I think Forrest Behan for Daryl Jacob would be very hard to beat in the 3:35. And over at Newcastle in the finale, Big River.
3:20 at Newcastle.
3:20 at Newcastle. I think Big River is going to be very hard to beat. Bolted up first time out last season. Goes well fresh. Tertimus Parfois at Warwick, that's really good form. Lucinda Russell, of her last 10 runners, she's had 2 winners, 2 seconds and a third. Blair Campbell takes off £5. I thought off a mark of 142. Big River was well handicapped. And I just want to mention a couple of others. Cape Adventure, I think, will win the 120 at Newbury. What's Wrong With You? Something that's been said to me many times.
That looks, yeah.
Wins the 225 at Newbury.
It could be an amazing day for Nicky Henderson.
It could be an amazing day for Nicky Henderson.
He's got Bouvardais, he's got Santini, he's got a lot of short price winners.
And I think Duke of the Tie, who was beaten by Jets at Navan last Sunday. I think Duke of the Tie in a handicap off 133. Won't have to do his own donkey work here. It'll be very hard to beat.
What mark is he off?
133.
Okay.
133. Jetez, I think, off 128 can win the 305. The Sweeney in the 215 at Doncaster, and Cafe Adventure in the 120 at Newbury. So there's
What is that? Like how many
Goliath.
multiples? Yeah,
What
Goliath.
do you need for Goliath?
Super Goliath.
Goliath, I think, is 7.
You got.
63 is 6.
What's 17?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more than a Goliath. No.
And if you're doing a Union Jack, put Samco in the middle. Do you know what a Union Jack? Have you ever done a Union Jack? That's 9.
But it's
And
to
yet
do
it's
it, you have to
The
get
flag, trebles. It's all trebles.
Oh my goodness. Okie doke. You got one for us at Newbury as well, the
But
150.
don't listen to him about the THs. THs are difficult. We're Irish.
Yeah, very difficult,
Yes, what have I got in the 150 in Newbury? Speedo Boy. Of course, nudging 100 on the flat, this horse.
Yeah.
Very well handicapped over hurdles. Took advantage of that mark at Cheltenham. Only got £6. Some will say he was advantaged by the fact that they took out 3 hurdles, which he was, but he jumped the other hurdles really well. Looks to be getting the hang of the game. I don't think a £6 rise will be stopping Speedo.
Okie doke. Let's move on to Sunday, and it's an absolutely brilliant day's racing from Fairyhouse. The 3 grade 1s there, the bar 1s. We'll start with the first one. Only 5 got a post for the Royal Bond.
Yeah, at this stage, Gordon will be in great form after Samcro. So I think the first race, the 12:35, obviously Curse Sublime, I think he'll take a hell of a lot of beating. In the Royal Bond, do you know what? I'm going to take Commander of Fleet on with Quick Grabbing, because I just thought Commander of Fleet looked so raw and green. And everything was like, whoa, what's this? What's going on here? He is going to be by far the best horse in the race, but I just wonder.
As in ultimately?
Oh, absolutely. Like, he's going to be in a different league to these. But just with the experience under its belt, Quick Grabbing, I thought, didn't get a good ride at Navan. I thought anything that could have went wrong did go wrong. Still finished up the hill. I thought it came out. That form has worked out reasonably well with the likes of Magnum and Choyunga running well last time in the Monks Field. And I just think experience, the small field will help Commander of Fleet, but he'd want to do Everton a little bit slicker than he did at Punchestown. Yeah,
he may do, but what do you reckon, Juki?
Again, like David, I would take on Likely Fav, Commander of Fleet. I think it might just be a bit too much for him. With that Aramon, I was really impressed with that quickened at Navan.
Yeah, really
the form got a boost there last weekend as well. So yeah, I'll go for
Aramon. Stick with those. Fair enough. Right, on to the 135, the Drinmore, and I mean, 11 got a post here, but I suppose all eyes are on Larichberg. I think quite a lot of people excited about him in the future. Yeah,
my strongest fancy today is in this Delta Work. Delta Work was rated 152 over hurdles. Larichberg was 140. Larichberg has been brilliant over fences, but that's £12 to find against Delta Work, who's also, I think, going to be a better chaser than hurdler. He was workmanlike when he won it down Royal, but the form of that has been boosted since with Ben Dundee bolting up next time. Like, that was on quicker ground than he'd want. It's going to be a little bit slower here, I think, for Delta Work. I thought he did well to win now. I like the way he jumped. I think he's come on leaps and bounds since then, and to me, he just looks a better horse than Larichberg. So Delta Work for me. Delta
Work, yeah. I kind of like Discorama, actually. He did really nicely at Nace that day, and they definitely have high hopes for him.
Yeah, lovely jumper, should go well, but just mightn't just have the class of Delta Work.
Yeah, perhaps. I think probably wants a little further in time. So what about you, Juki?
Couldn't agree more with David. I think Delta Work should be Fav and will be Fav. It's just...
We're friends again.
Well, people can disagree and still be friends.
No, not over Samco.
We live in a civilised society. But Delta Work, he was workmanlike, but not the jumping. He was very accomplished round the jumping.
Love this jumping.
Put it to you, David Jennings. May have just needed the run like a few of Gordon's at that time.
Badly needed
the run. So it's as David says, I don't think there's a better jumper in the race than him, and he was the best hurdler. So 1 and 1 is 2, right?
Okie doke. That's a pretty straightforward.
When did you start maths, Grimes?
Listen, he watches enough Countdown, okay? That's where he gets it from.
Let's move on. Riley during the week. It was a fake, though, wasn't it?
It was a fake.
Okay. It was a fake.
She's a goddess.
That's okay. I was worried for a second about that.
She fooled me.
Well, she certainly didn't fool me.
Right, let's move on to the Hatton's Grace at 240, and obviously Apple's Jade here. She's the star draw, looking for 3 in a row. What do you make of her?
Yeah, she wins, Tom.
She wins?
Simple as that, yeah. She's going for 3 in a row. Thought she looked better than ever at Navan, and I think she's actually slightly better going right-handed, because she doesn't jump to her right, but as she's coming up to her hurdle, she kind of edges to her right and then jumps straight. So I think that'll suit the rails if she can just stick to the rail at Fairyhouse.
What about the best horse in the race Super Sunday?
Yeah, I just think over this track, getting £7, I think Apple's Jade is just going to be so hard to beat. I just think with Super Sunday, I spoke to Jessica Harrington during the week, like, she's happy with him and they were hoping to run the Morgiana, But maybe he's just a horse. He's a big, gross horse. He might just need the run. And with that run under our belt, I think Appleshade is going to be very hard to beat.
I mean, in another world, you don't think, like, okay, if last season hadn't happened the way it panned out for Super Sunday, this is his absolute ideal starting point. It never had the Morgan on their mind.
Yeah. I just think he probably would have been well beaten by Sam Crow and Mellon at Punchestown. I know he won the race, but yeah, I'd be surprised if he was able to beat Appleshade.
Okay, you're only bringing Appleshade. You don't think there's any significant opposition to her in this? No, I think this race is deeper than you're suggesting.
Yeah, no,
go on, Chicky.
Well, actually, I disagree with you, Tom. I don't think it's that deep at all. Sutton Place probably won't run, although I see it's tipping down out there now. There's only about 5 mils of rain predicted, so I don't think they'll run him. Super Sunday will need the run, because as Dave said, he is a unit, and I think he'll definitely tighten up for the run. And I'm not sure that Limini, I'm not sure she's as good as she was, although she ran to a good figure in Leopardstown that day on the flat. I'm still not sure she's as good at. So what are you left with? Appleshade.
Appleshade.
So you're going to pluck something from the sky there. I was looking
for something.
No, I just think the stars have aligned and she'll win.
The stars have aligned and she'll win. Anything else on that Sunday card for you at Fairyhouse?
Yeah, in the 210, Velocity Boy, I was really fancying for the Troytown. I put him up in the Racing Post that week. Yeah, he runs in the Porterstown at 210. I just wonder what the reason they might have swerved the Troytown was because it's left-handed. All his good form is going right-handed, and I think maybe that's why they've came here. Valuable contest, 30 grand to the winner. Travels so well in the Cork National, absolutely travelled like a dream. Dennis O'Regan, I think, will suit him. Stamina is a little bit of a worry over 3 mile 5, but off 130, I think he's a lot in hand. And best of luck to our colleague Johnny Ward.
Yeah, Undressed in there.
Undressed, something I'm sure he's done many a time. And,
he will be if that wins on Sunday.
Yeah, has got a chance because it stays all day, and you'd imagine the switch to Willie should improve quite considerably, and the vibe seemed to be pretty strong.
Yeah, strongish. What about you, Jiggy? Anything else for you on the Fairyhouse card on Sunday?
Nothing else for me, Tom.
Nothing else for you. Okay, all very agreeable here towards the end of the day. Right, let's move on to our best bets on the card this weekend. And of course, Ladbrokes got those best odds guaranteed on multiples from early in shops there in the morning. Right, let's get our best bets of the weekend. Just down to 3. Do you want a moment to get your list from 17 down to 3?
Sam Crow. I know Sam Crow obviously is my banker in the Fighting Fifth at Newcastle, which is at 205. I also really like Forrest Behan in the 335 at Newbury, and the other one I'm going to give is Big River in the final race at Newcastle, which is at
320.
320.
Jiggy, 3.
I will nap Speedo Boy in the 150 at Newbury, and I will stick him in a traditional Trixie with Summer Lovin' Somerville Boy in the 205 Newcastle, and Hum Baby in the 305.
Just do a double.
No. Right, well, my best bet of the weekend is Valdieu in the Fairyhouse bumper on Saturday at 340. Got Santini in the 1245 at Newbury on Saturday. And I'm going to agree with you and put up Dingo Dollar in the Ladbrokes Trophy as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week with more What's the Limit.